Step into a world where every flower holds a secret and every breeze carries a story from the past. Subscribe and ring the bell to join us on more magical adventures like this one. Tonight, we bring you the enchanting tale of Goo Goo Girl and the Enchanted Garden of Stories. Once upon a time, in the quaint village of Rosella's Reach, there stood an ancient, sprawling garden. This garden was a secret pride of the village, loved deeply by two young sisters, Goo Goo Girl and her spirited younger sister, Goo Goo Gaby. Their cozy, sun-kissed cottage was perched at the edge of the garden, where wildflowers crowded the windowsills and ivy clambered up the walls. Goo Goo Girl, or Gigi as her sister affectionately called her, was 10 years old, with bright starry eyes and hair that curled into perfect loops like the morning glories climbing their garden gate. Goo Goo Gaby, 8 years old, overflowed with boundless energy and a laughter that sounded like wind chimes. Their grandmother, Grandma Rose, had tended to the garden until her recent passing. She left behind an old, dusty gardening book filled with cryptic notes and mysterious maps of the garden. This book, bound in peeling leather, was as much a puzzle as it was a guide, and it smelled of earth and secrets. One crisp spring morning, as the garden awoke from its winter slumber, the sisters decided to unravel the mysteries it held, guided by Grandma Rose's book. The garden was no ordinary place. It hummed with a strange, magnetic pull. Here, the flowers didn't just grow, they thrived with whispers of ancient times, and every bloom seemed to tell a story. Their journey began with a towering sunflower, taller than any man and brighter than the midday sun. As Gigi placed her hands gently against its warm stem, images flooded her mind. Visions of a great-great-grandfather who had been a painter, his canvases filled with the golden hues of sunflowers. Each plant in this garden holds a fragment of our family's past, Gigi explained to Gaby, her voice a mix of awe and excitement. We must tend to them, learn their stories, and keep the magic alive. The sisters embarked on a daily adventure, tending to various flowers that revealed flashbacks of their ancestors' lives, tales of triumph, struggle, and wisdom. They met a talking rose, the garden's oldest inhabitant, who told them that the garden's magic would fade unless they fulfilled their roles as the new guardians. One day, while exploring a forgotten path lined with ancient oak trees, they discovered a hidden grove, as marked in Grandma Rose's book. This grove, shielded from view by thick vines, was known as the Whispering Glade. Here, the rarest flowers grew, directly connected to their family's bloodline and holding the most potent magic and stories. As they ventured deeper, they learned to communicate with the plants, each flower teaching them not just the history of their family, but also the care each unique bloom required. From the delicate pruning of roses to the careful watering of the shy violets, the sisters became adept gardeners, their hands often stained with soil and their hearts full of stories. Meanwhile, the village buzzed with rumors of Mr. Stone, a wealthy developer with eyes like cold chips of granite. He had plans to buy the land to build a resort, a thought that chilled the hearts of all who loved the garden. When surveyors began to mark the land, the sisters knew they had to act. They decided to approach the village council, armed with the tales and wonders of the garden. But they knew words might not be enough. They needed to show the villagers and the council the garden's magic, to make them feel the weight of the legacy at stake. Goo Goo Girl devised a plan. What if we host an exhibition? A night where the garden reveals its magic to all, she proposed. Goo Goo Gaby's eyes lit up with excitement. And what if the flowers could share their stories with everyone, not just us? With the help of the talking rose and the ancient oaks, they planned the grandest exhibition the village had ever seen. They invited everyone in Rosella's Reach, and even people from neighbouring towns. The night of the exhibition, the garden was aglow with lanterns, and each flower was carefully labelled with snippets of the stories they held. The villagers walked through the garden, captivated by the blooming spectacles and the whispered tales that filled the air. Children listened wide-eyed as the roses recounted tales of romance and reconciliation, while adults pondered the journeys told by the orchids. Mr. Stone was there too, and even he couldn't ignore the magic that thrummed through the air, a magic palpable and awe-inspiring, tugging at the strings of every heart present. Moved by the sincerity of the sisters and the undeniable magic they had showcased, Mr. Stone slowly nodded. "Let's talk," he agreed, much to the surprise of everyone. The night ended, not with the fear of loss, but with the hope of preservation and new beginnings. In the weeks that followed, Goo Goo Girl and Goo Goo Gaby worked alongside the village council and Mr. Stone to declare the garden a protected historical site. They organised regular tours and educational programmes, allowing the garden to generate the necessary funds to maintain its beauty and magic, while educating visitors on the importance of heritage and conservation. As the garden flourished under its new status, so did the bond between the sisters. They became the official guardians of the garden, a role they embraced with pride and dedication. Every flower planted and story told added to the legacy left by their ancestors, ensuring that the magic of the garden would continue to grow and inspire for generations to come. Thus, Goo Goo Girl and Goo Goo Gaby learned that by honouring their past and protecting their heritage, they didn't just preserve the stories of their ancestors, they became a part of the story themselves, teaching future generations the importance of roots and the strength found in remembering where you come from. This tale, woven from the threads of curiosity, heritage, and the magic of nature, remains a testament to the enduring power of stories and those who keep them alive. If there are more adventures or new tales you wish to explore, the garden and its guardians are always ready to inspire. As word of the Enchanted Garden's magic spread, it attracted visitors not only from the local village, but also from distant cities. This newfound popularity, while welcome, brought its own set of challenges. The garden was a sanctuary of stories and memories, and the influx of visitors threatened to disturb the delicate balance that Goo Goo Girl and Goo Goo Gaby had worked so hard to maintain. To address these challenges, the sisters decided to expand their efforts. They initiated a reservation system to manage the number of visitors each day, ensuring that the garden's tranquility was preserved. Additionally, they began to offer specialized tours, focusing on the history of the garden and the significance of each plant and its story, thus educating visitors about the importance of conservation and respect for nature's magic. One brisk autumn morning, as the leaves began to paint the ground in hues of orange and red, a new mystery presented itself. A rare wilting flower was discovered in a secluded corner of the garden. It was a blue whisper, a species thought to be extinct, known for its ability to communicate directly with those who had a deep connection to the garden. The blue whisper's sudden appearance and its distress signaled that not all was well. Alarmed, Goo Goo Girl and Goo Goo Gaby consulted Grandma Rose's gardening book for any clue on how to revive such a rare species. The book spoke of a special nectar made from the combined essences of 5 different magical plants, each blooming in a different season. Gathering these essences would not only heal the blue whisper, but also strengthen the garden's overall magic. Thus began a year-long quest that tested the sisters' knowledge and dedication. The first essence was to be collected from the frost petals, flowers that only bloomed under the first frost of winter. Braving the cold, the sisters gathered the delicate petals as they shimmered under the moonlit frost, capturing their essence in a crystal vial. Spring brought the challenge of harvesting dew from the dawn blossoms, flowers that opened only at the first light of dawn. Goo Goo Gaby, with her swift agility, was able to collect the precious dewdrops using leaves crafted into makeshift bowls, capturing the essence of new beginnings. Summer required the essence of the sun's heart, a flower that bloomed only at high noon, when the sun was at its peak. Goo Goo Girl used a special mirror to focus the sunlight onto the flower, coaxing the plant to release its fiery essence into a sunstone cup. As autumn returned, the sisters sought the falling leaves, plants that shed their leaves at the exact moment the sun dipped below the horizon. They used a woven net of spider silk to catch the leaves before they touched the ground, preserving their essence of change and transformation. Finally, they needed the essence of the midnight bloom, a mysterious flower that opened only at the stroke of midnight during the year's longest night. Together, the sisters stood watch, capturing the essence as the flower exuded its powerful aroma into the still night air. With all 5 essences combined, Goo Goo Girl and Goo Goo Gaby approached the wilting blue whisper. They gently administered the nectar, and the flower slowly began to regain its vibrant colour and strength. As it healed, the blue whisper shared its story, a tale of an ancient magic that had been disturbed by the garden's growing popularity, which had unbalanced the natural harmony. Armed with this new knowledge, the sisters devised a plan to manage the flow of visitors, ensuring that the garden's magic was respected and preserved. They introduced guided tours that educated visitors on the importance of conservation and the sacredness of the stories within the garden. Years passed, and the story of the blue whisper became a lesson in balance and respect for all who visited the garden. Goo Goo Girl and Goo Goo Gaby, now seasoned guardians, continued to innovate ways to share the garden's magic responsibly, ensuring that the legacy of their ancestors and the stories of the Enchanted Garden of Stories would endure for generations to come. The garden remained a place of wonder, a bridge between the past and the present, where every visitor could feel the pulse of stories growing around them, a reminder that magic is real, alive, and needs to be cared for with respect and love. This tale, rich with challenges, discoveries, and the timeless magic of nature, concludes here. But the garden's stories, like its flowers, continue to bloom, ever growing, ever enchanting those who walk its paths. As the guardians of the Enchanted Garden of Stories, Goo Goo Girl and Goo Goo Gaby grew into their roles with grace and wisdom, their lives deeply intertwined with the cycles of the garden. The garden itself became a vibrant hub of education and preservation, its stories inspiring all who walked its paths. Yet, as the sisters grew older, they began to consider the future of the garden and the need to ensure its continued protection and magic for generations to come. To this end, they started the Guardian Apprenticeship Program, inviting young enthusiasts from the village and beyond to learn about the garden's secrets and the responsibilities of a guardian. The program was designed not only to teach the practical aspects of gardening and conservation, but also to instill a deep respect for the stories embedded in the flora of the garden. Among the first group of apprentices was a young girl named Lily, who showed a natural affinity for the garden's magic. Her curiosity and eagerness to learn reminded the sisters of their younger selves, and they took special interest in mentoring her. Lily learned quickly, absorbing every lesson about plant care, magical conservation, and the histories told by the garden's blooms. One spring, as the garden burst into a spectacle of colours and scents, a new challenge arose. A mysterious ailment began to affect the whispering willows, a grove of trees that stood at the garden's heart, whispering stories of the ancient guardians who had first discovered the garden's magic. The ailment caused the leaves of the willows to wither and fall prematurely, silencing their stories and threatening a vital part of the garden's heritage. Goo Goo Girl, Goo Goo Gaby, and their apprentices, led by Lily, embarked on a mission to save the whispering willows. They researched ancient gardening texts and consulted with magical botanists to find a cure. Their journey led them to discover a forgotten spring hidden deep within the garden, its waters believed to have healing properties. Under the guidance of the sisters, Lily led the effort to channel the spring's waters to the whispering willows. They worked tirelessly, crafting channels lined with moonstones, known to enhance the water's magical qualities. Slowly, the willows began to recover, their leaves budding anew and their whispers growing louder each day, telling their ancient tales once more. The success of their efforts was celebrated with a grand festival, reviving an old tradition that the garden had not seen for many years. The Festival of Whispers, as it was called, marked the beginning of each spring, celebrating the renewal of the garden and its stories. Visitors from across the lands came to witness the magic of the whispering willows and to hear the tales of the garden's guardians, past and present. As years passed, Lily grew into her role and eventually became a guardian herself, taking up the mantle with honor and dedication. Goo Goo Girl and Goo Goo Gaby, now wise with the years, watched with pride as their apprentice continued the legacy they had so lovingly nurtured. They knew that with guardians like Lily, the garden would continue to thrive and enchant. The garden remained a place of enchantment, a sanctuary where the past met the present, where every plant and every bloom told a story of legacy and magic. The Enchanted Garden of Stories stood as a testament to the power of care, dedication, and respect for nature and its tales, forever growing, forever remembered by those who cherished its magic. This narrative of the Enchanted Garden of Stories closes here, but the garden itself lives on, an ever-blooming legacy of those who have walked its paths and those who will walk them in the future, each step and each story a continuation of a magical tradition that knows no end. If new adventures or tales beckon, the garden and its guardians are always ready to inspire and to be inspired. Every story holds the power to bloom a little courage, kindness, and love in our hearts, just like the Enchanted Garden. If this tale inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and stay tuned for more heartwarming journeys to spark your imagination.